Hello.
Hi,
Hi, Noreen. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you very much. My name is Celine. Hello, everybody who has just joined this tech talk as well. We're here with Noreen, and it's job search with ChatGPT and AI Solutions. So, you can ask your questions from the question and answers part, and we'll be glad to answer those questions as well. So, Noreen, would you like to add anything else before we start with all of our questions?
Hi, everyone. It's nice to be here tonight and to be talking about the new way of job search and the new way that technology is taking us. And I'm excited to be here and to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. So I'm going to start with a couple of questions, of course. So, what is your reason for examining this topic, job search with ChatGPT and artificial intelligence solutions in this event, and where is artificial intelligence going?
Oh, that's a lot of answers. ChatGPT and AI in general is obviously a big buzz these days in lots of different industries and areas. And we're talking about it today because job search has really changed since, back in the day. So initially people were, walking around creating resumes and walking into brick and mortar shops and handing them to the person at the counter and trying to meet somebody face to face. And, we've evolved with all the technologies with um, LinkedIn and being able to have applicant tracking systems where you can apply to jobs online with, your resume and sometimes your cover letter, answering questions. And the more that we've evolved in job search, the more the technology has evolved, it's become keywords and skill-based hiring has really evolved. So companies are looking for uh, different um, different ways to find the right talent. And one of the ways they're doing that is searching resumes for keywords and looking for specific types of traits. And the AI systems that are out there now are really useful for a tool to help with creating resumes, prep for interviews, um, optimizing your resume, and even helping with networking uh, content. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right, really. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's why we're here. Did you want me to just talk about job search in general, or did you have another question?
Well, I do have a lot of more questions. So, how do you really see the role of this AI in the future of job search and executive hiring, of course?
Yeah, so I love AI. I love the new technology. I'm excited about it, but I also have a lot of reservation about it in job search. I think I'm concerned about taking the human out of hiring. Job search is all about people, and using the tools to help people to communicate is one thing, but using technology to screen candidates and to potentially even hire candidates or pick candidates is something that really makes me nervous, especially as a recruiter. And not because I could, be out of a job, but more because, you know, humans connect with humans, and I think it's
Yeah.
really hard for a human to connect with technology and to be able to really show off their talents in some of the new ways that are coming about. So as far as supporting you for job search and for the process that you now have to go through, which is really more focused on your skills, your personal branding. It's always been about networking, but it's now more so than ever because some of the benefits of technology and AI are actually also some of the downfalls. So we have more applications being able to be applied because of remote work. People can apply from all over the place. So it's harder to narrow down. And most job seekers, unless they're actually a marketing professional, are not necessarily trained in social media networking and marketing, and you almost have to be that in order to get a job these days. And so that's why we're talking about AI tools as a way to assist, because sometimes it's really hard to figure out how to present yourself. I mean, job seekers are sharing their knowledge and have so much to offer, and they work really hard to get into companies, especially people that are in career transition, trying to leverage, their transferable skills. And so Chat GPT can really help with exploring helping you communicate some of your key skills. I see a hand raised.
So I do too, yeah. We will answer these questions at the end so we don't get mixed up with everything. But yes, of course, we'll come back to all of those questions. I'm glad we do. So I have another one. As the founder of the Luminance Group, how has technology, specifically artificial intelligence, shaped the executive recruiting landscape in recent years?
I think that it has enabled more of a connection for just another way of communicating. So I think, the big thing is you're writing your resume, okay? So as you write a resume for job search, you're trying to describe different types of skills that you have. And AI can help with that. You can share your background, your skills, and AI can help and go out and look at different resources and do research. You have to be careful. You have to be guiding the AI. You have to be reading it. You have to be checking it. You have to make sure that it's actually saying what you want it to say. Because I have, by the way, received resumes where people have had them written by Chat GPT, and I've interviewed people and asked them to explain a particular, experience that they have pointed out on their resume. And I've had people answer me, I don't know, I didn't do that. So, don't do that with AI. That's not going to help you. You really want to use it to help you to be able to describe some of the things that you're struggling describing, and also to describe it in a way that connects with the companies. So, they put out their job descriptions. The job descriptions are looking for specific skills. Sometimes they're not a one-to-one relationship. Sometimes you kind of have to really dig deep and think about how you have experience doing some of those skills, and AI can help with that. It can tell you how a teacher has a lot of similar transferable skills to a DevOps person. It can give you some of the skills that are used for teachers and also for DevOps, and put those pieces together for you so that you can really look at what you want to communicate and show off that you have done it not only in whatever role you're looking for, but also in prior roles.
Yeah. I understand. I actually have a question on my own, and I guess Caleb has asked the same question. So I just want to go ahead and ask that one. How can you tell that the resume was written by ChatGPT?
Well, in the instance that I was talking about, I could tell because I asked a question and they didn't have the answer. Sometimes it's just a lot of keywords on top of each other. What you really want to think about when you're presenting yourself is actually, and rather than telling what you've done, describing it. Okay. So if you're looking at a job description, one of the things you can do is take the job description and put it into an AI system like ChatGPT and say, tell me what skills this job description is asking for. And then you can put your resume in, or you can describe some of the things you've done, and you can say, tell me how to write a bullet that describes what this job description is looking for, or what the bullet is asking for. But then you really need to make it personal. You need to use adjectives that help that you would use, because the adjectives are behavioral, right? So it's hard to screen for behaviors before you meet with somebody. But one of the ways that you can figure out how people think, or how passionate they are, or how organized they are, is some of the different words that they use. The Chat GPT or AI systems can also identify keywords that are typically used in specific industries, in specific types of roles. It can help you optimize for that. The applicant tracking systems are where everything goes now. So you apply to a job, it goes into an applicant tracking system. And I can tell you that probably 90, maybe even 95, 99% of the applicant tracking systems are screening the resume and can automatically reject you before a person ever looks at you. That's the scary part of it.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is why it's so important to really focus on how you can add value to a company in a particular role, and then to optimize your resume with those keywords, because you have to get through the screener. It's also why it's important and even easier to get a job through networking. But that's a lot more work these days.
Of course. Yes, I understand. Thank you. Now, my next question is, what motivated you to specialize in EdTech, digital media and data and analytics within executive recruitment?
Oh, well, the real story is that I had just started in recruiting, and my brother was in AdTech. He was working in one of the newer companies. I mean, I think it was around like 2010, 2011. And I didn't know much about it, but he was an initial, like an innovator in the mobile ad tech space at that time. And so I focused on it because I could find the companies. Like, I knew the company names, and I could go and look, and there wasn't it wasn't as easy to find them when I started, even though we still had like internet and search. It was just not as easy to find. So I kind of narrowed in on those companies to make it easier to build relationships with companies, and then also to find candidates and leverage those candidates and help them, because all the different companies were looking for similar types of talent. And so it helped me to build my business. But it's very interesting. I love it's cutting edge, marketing and analytics and even advertising is really one of my I'm passionate about them at this point. I see that everybody is, that they can actually be helpful. Some of the tools, the AI tools that are serving the ads and doing the marketing, are really serving useful things now, a lot more so than some of the content that we used to get. And the more that I talk to people all across organizations in finance and operations and sales and marketing and product development, the more I learned how the business, what the biggest issues were. And so it kept me always being on the forefront of the technology. And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Okay. So, what changes have you observed in professional job search approaches in your 19 years of expertise?
Yeah. So, I mean, it really, used to be more about applying to a job and then you would get an interview. It was easier to do it through people that you knew, but it was more like, oh, I have a friend who has a friend. It was less of like the social media connections and networking and building of networking and utilizing the groups. So it's really evolved from a personal perspective. Companies are looking for, every company is looking for unicorns, okay? Those unique people that have a strong value add, that have the skills they want, but also have a background in the same space. And, ideally have been using this new technology that just came out, but they want the experience. And so there's a lot of ability to narrow down what the companies are looking for and what they really want. And so standing out when you're a job seeker or as a professional in general is important, and keeping yourself out there, really creating, your personal brand, your unique value proposition, sharing your knowledge, sharing your expertise, and continuously doing that and staying in front of people is the newer way of where job search is going. I think, if you are starting your first job search or making a transition, and this is the first time you've been job searching in a while, building your brand, making sure you have your profile online, making sure you understand kind of how your past has gotten to you to where you are, and then how it also can be leveraged in the new roles that you're going for. Sharing the content that you're interested in, sharing the projects that you've completed or any accomplishments that you have is all basically building an online resume, which can help you now in your current job search, but also help you in the future. As you're building your network, you're building your target market. So if you're joining groups, you want to try to join groups. If you're a software engineer, you don't want to just join software engineer groups. A lot of those groups are just software engineers. So you want to do the mix and match, like, okay, I want to be a software engineer and I have a background in finance. So maybe I'll do software engineers in finance or AdTech or so you want to leverage your background and really put the pieces together for yourself so that you can share yourself with others and get noticed, because standing out is the number one thing in job search now.
That's right. Thank you. So what advice would you give to professionals who want to leverage artificial intelligence in their job search strategies?
So I would say that it's important so the beginning of job search, the number one thing to do is really get grounded in you. Okay. So really exploring your some of your personality traits. There's a great free assessment online, 16personalities.com. I love it because if you take the test, it's kind of like a version of the Myers-Briggs, which is a famous psychology assessment. And if it resonates with you, it can help remind you and bring top of mind some of those unique skills that you have that maybe you don't give yourself credit for. A lot of people don't give themselves credit for all of that they've done. And so before job searching, it's a really good idea to refresh your memory. So doing an assessment like that, or grounding yourself in, like, well, I went to school, this was my major, and then after that I went and I was, I had studied environmental sciences, and then when I graduated I went into that field, but then I realized I didn't really like it and I wanted to go to technology. But there were parts of the things that you did in your environmental studies that you liked. So what were those things? Because more than likely, a lot of the things that you liked in that, you also like in your other jobs. And so you can almost prove to yourself that you have been doing the same thing over and over in different ways, in different roles, and now you want to do it in a new way, in a new role. So ChatGPT, once you kind of ground yourself in who you are, you can take that and feed it to ChatGPT. It can help you then communicate your behavior, your personality, and your skills and interest and knowledge into a resume, into an interview story format, into a cover letter, and you can also match it versus job descriptions. So it can take the content and the knowledge that you have that you want to communicate and then help you format it. But I definitely wouldn't just ask it to do it for you because it doesn't know you. So be careful with
How
that.
about if we tell him who we are?
Which you can do. That's what you have to do. You have
Yeah.
to tell them who you are. I am this, these are the things, and then help me write it, so that it has optimized keywords for for those job descriptions that you're applying to. You could also have it scan. So, job search is a lot of work. So if you're doing a job search, it's a good idea to niche yourself. It's better. Like a lot of people are like, I just want a job. Okay, great. But everybody just wants a job. So how are you going to stand out? You stand out by understanding your uniqueness and then targeting companies that are looking for your uniqueness. And you could do that by, using ChatGPT, putting in 3 to 5 really job descriptions. You feel like if you look at every bullet on them, you're not only saying, oh, I can do that, but you can actually describe that you have done it in the past, whether it be a project or a work accomplishment. And you can say, all right, analyze these 3 to 5 job descriptions and tell me what keywords and what skills need to be in my resume. So that way you can actually work lists and go off of companies and say, okay, I'm going to target these types of companies and these types of roles. And now your resume is optimized mostly for that niche. So you're not having to spend so much time revising and customizing, because as much as it's important to communicate your uniqueness,
Yeah.
your uniqueness is not changing in this present moment because you already have a lot of it gathered for your search.
Thank you. That's right. Okay, so my next question is, how do you envision the synergy between human expertise and AI assistance in the future of career development?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that AI, there's going to be specialists helping to train the AI systems to really be able to identify those expertise in a better fashion. Potentially, there are AI systems for interviewing right now. They look at your facial features, they listen to your tone, they identify the adjectives you're using, and they literally create your personality and then screen you out or in based on those things. So there are people behind those systems developing them. There can be biases in those systems because people have biases. So that is one thing that people are watching for. I envision that people will use it mostly for a tool. I think that I still think that the most important thing in job search is to put two people in front of each other. So like sites like Lunch Club, which is a networking website, which literally you put in exactly who you want to be talking to, and it matches you with other people who want to be talking to people like you, and you can have conversations. It's not about actual jobs, but it's about networking. Those are key, and I'm hoping that we use AI to bring us closer connected as individual people. I feel like right now it's like a lot of layers of data and a lot of layers of technology that are supposed to be bringing us together, but are actually keeping us apart. But I think as it
Yeah, I think
evolves,
so
we'll
too.
get closer.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, uh, this AI is scary, but very helpful at the same time.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I love
my,
it I mean, for job seekers, it's excellent because it's a tool that
yeah,
you can use, and it speeds up your process. There was a whole I think that there was a survey that I heard about that Accenture did where they took, don't quote all the facts on this, but they took two different groups of employees, and one was given, they were given the same projects, and that one team was allowed to use AI and one was not. And the one that used AI was able to accomplish like 12 tasks um and in the same time that the other team was able to do like four. So it does speed up the process. It can be helpful. And that's what I love about it. Like
Definitely.
it's so innovative. You just really have to know what you're using it for and what you're trying to accomplish so that you can lead it.
Definitely. Okay, so as an experienced recruiter, how can you stay up to date with the latest trends and technologies in this industry?
Well, I stay up to date because I have company relationships and I have job seeker coaching relationships. So I stay up to date through the day to day of really being in the trenches with the companies and hearing their problems and how hard they're at, like how hard it is for them to find the right talent. I can't even tell you, like the issue with the companies is they can't find the right talent, but they have all these jobs open. And the issue with the job seekers are they can't even get an interview, but they really want a job. So it's, my everyday challenge to try to figure out how to put those pieces together. And I think that the skill-based hiring that AI is starting to really assist with is a direction that is going to start to help that more and more. I think understanding that you don't have to have been doing the job forever to actually know how to do it, because you could leverage your other types of experience that also might be very similar, even though it wasn't in the same exact type of role.
Okay. I have a Yeah, I have a question in mind that I'm really curious about. So, when you're applying for a job, you go to an interview, you talk to a person in front of you, they can see your ambition for that job. How can an AI can? I mean, like, it can't. What happens
Right.
then?
Yeah, so that's my biggest concern. But they do have systems like HireVue is a very big, it's a video interview platform. A lot of big companies use it, and the whole process is video interviews. Like they give you a question and you have to answer the question, and it monitors your facial expressions and the words that you use and whether you're nervous or whether you're excited or you know what you're dressed like and all of those pieces. Um, I I feel like maybe using that tool and the information that it's gathering, but then having a person look at it before you screen would be better than just allowing it to make those decisions. I feel like that we're I don't feel like we're really there yet. I don't think that
No. Yeah.
you could have a system do that. But I think that we're
Mm,
trying. So um, we just have to be patient about the technology and its limitations and leverage it as much as possible to help us the way things are at each and as each time. I mean, like job search has been changing. We hit COVID. COVID was crazy with job search.
yeah.
Um, it really slowed things down, but it also there was a lot of jobs transition, which really sped things up in the talent space, right? And so as that happened, then more and more people were hiring and there are more roles. And then, we've had a lot of other things that affect us. So it's like we're always one of the things I would say to anybody who's job seeking is it's always hard to get a job. Okay. So like all this news that's coming out, like saying, oh, it's harder now than ever, like maybe, I don't know. I choose not to really believe that because I really do think that companies are hiring, just not every company. There's always different companies coming up. There's always new technologies companies coming up, new innovations. There's always people hiring, you just have to find those people that are hiring the type of person you are and looking for your type of background.
And never lose your ambition, of course.
Yes, exactly. Follow your
Okay.
interests for sure. Because I think
Yes.
the more that you follow your interests, the more excited you can be, and the more that you will stand out as unique and an expert in those areas. And that's going to be the biggest way of being seen in networking and job search in the future.
Yeah. Okay. So my next question is, what are your thoughts on ChatGPT's transformative impact on personalized business assistance?
I actually really like that. I ChatGPT, I had the opportunity to create a couple of my own GPTs. So I have one that's like I use for my personal branding or my branding and marketing for my business, and then I have another one that's like my office assistant, right? And so I got to train and give it instructions on, I want you to use credible resources, and here's examples of credible resources, and every time I ask a question, I want you to remember like my past questions and and incorporate that into your answers. And so the more that you're able to do that with your own personal AI, the more that it will be helpful to you. So it will almost become something like a task doer for that's another one of you, hopefully. And so I love that. Like I love the idea of being able to use to use the system to do a lot of the tedious work that sometimes is just just takes a lot of time. Now it speeds it up. So it can be really useful. And I'm excited about that evolution for sure. I think it's just getting up to speed on exactly what all of it can do and then getting actually comfortable with using it. But the more you use it, um, the more you learn. So
Well, I hope so. I'm still learning as well. I mean, it's wonderful. It's really helpful in every way that I can think of, but still learning. And I think we're gonna have to learn every day because technology, as you said, it's getting bigger and bigger each day that we're living right now.
yes, yeah. And it can be overwhelming. And I think it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, I think the internet like was always has been evolving. But I always wanted to like ask it questions, right? And it does sometimes answer the questions, but not as well as like ChatGPT. Now you can literally go out
No,
there and be
definitely
like,
not.
tell me about this or help me with that, or I don't know. Um, where do I start? Like it will actually give you those types of answers, and they can lead you at least down a rabbit hole more directly than a Google search. So um
And with multiple languages. I
yes.
mean, I think that's for me, that's the most useful thing that I've seen up to now. Okay,
Yeah. I,
so
I think that's the one thing though. I think in the situation that I had that I was talking about before, that there was definitely I think that the person was using ChatGPT to help them write the resume because they weren't comfortable with how they were going to communicate it because they had like their it wasn't their first language, English. So you definitely want to be careful. Like in that instance, it'd be better to put it all in your own, first language and then ask it to translate, um, rather than just saying, tell me what I should write or whatever they did as their prompt.
okay, so what are the key factors that professionals should consider when incorporating AI solutions into their career planning?
um, I think you want to think about your how you want to position yourself, how you want, like, what is your what's your target market? What are your value adds? What's your personality online? Like you really want to think about how you want to be communicating and what so that you can try to be consistent in your in in all of your materials. Okay. So like the job search package of the resume, the cover letter, the online profile, you want it all to be cohesive because you are a brand. You're a product, you're a service, you're offering solutions. So using it and being clear with how you want to communicate it so you don't come across one way in one piece of material and another. Um, it would be probably the most important thing because you're going to be doing a lot of marketing of yourself. You're going to be reaching out to trying to connect with people on LinkedIn. You're going to be having conversations and you want to leave people with some kind of impact and some kind of feeling of who you are. And the more consistent you are in your messaging, the easier that is.
Yeah. And how do you balance the professionalized aspect of career guidance in executive recruiting with the scalability of AI solutions?
Um, I think I look at everybody as a unique individual and I look at every role as a unique role. And so I really try to dive deeper, really try to understand the company, the role, the impact of the role, the growth of the role, um, and the direction that it may be growing in, as well as the same with the individual candidates. I play games with myself where I'll be interviewing a candidate and like I can still kind of hear the hiring manager telling me what they're looking for, and somehow I like put together when I'm talking to the candidates, I'll put together like, okay, this is like the candidate that's going to make it. Like, this is the one. And I'll like, I don't get to pick. I just let companies know, okay, here's a couple of candidates I feel like are a strong fit for your role. But I always like to play the game of like, okay, did they pick the one I would have picked? Like, this is the one that definitely sounded like they knew what they were doing. And what I think is interesting is, I'm not in ad tech. Like I don't work with the day-to-day technology of ad tech. I understand the terms and like the basics, but I'm not, deep into it. But I can tell through people's connecting with me. Like that whole, the way they describe themselves, how deep they go into each aspect of the roles that they've had and the different things that they've done. I can tell whether they know what they're talking about or not through that. And that's why the game is so fun for me, because when the people at the company who are actually doing the jobs and trying to figure out if the candidates can do them, they're going even deeper than I am. But I feel like I asking the questions and going deep and really listening to how people are communicating it is the way that I connect companies with talent. And I think that that's the piece that I'm not sure that can come through in AI. But
You're right.
I may
Yeah.
be proven wrong. I don't know. We'll see.
We will see, yeah. So, can you highlight a specific area where AI-driven job search strategies have proven particularly effective?
Yeah, so it's definitely keywords. I would say, and transferable skills. Really, using it. So once you really ground yourself in you're creating your job search package. Okay. So I always start with the resume. I look at the resume like it's a keyword doc and it's also an outline for your story. All right. And so, I read resumes from or when I work and help people create resumes, I do it from the bottom up because your story builds from before. So, what school did you go to? What was your major? What was your next role? What did you like? Why did you like it? Why did you pick your major? And putting those pieces together for yourself. But then when you go to optimize the resume, you're looking at the job descriptions, you're thinking first, you want to go bullet by bullet and think, okay, what can I describe, not tell? Like you don't want to say I communicate well. Guess what? Like good for you. I want to believe you, but prove it, right? So like as a recruiter, I'm like, let's cut through it because I need to know whether you really know what you're talking about. Um, so, trying to describe those actual accomplishments for each bullet is the first place I go to help people to optimize their resumes. And I think creating a bullet for maybe multiple bullets, but one story that you're going to tell on your resume, for each one of the experiences that you have in your career history is helpful. But then taking it and sending it back, putting it into AI and saying, okay, can you take this resume and these descriptions and identify keywords that I should maybe use or incorporate into the different bullets based on the types of jobs, the job description that I've provided you. Everything is about keywords now. I mean, even I live on LinkedIn. So I go on LinkedIn, I'm looking for candidates. I can tell you that, it's run by AI. I mean, it's got algorithms and it's, making recommendations, but I go out and I put in keywords. I know what the companies are looking for. I know what the title of the job is. I know the key skills they have to have. And so I search like that. So then I get an entire list of candidates. And it's the same as job search because you'll search and you'll get a list of companies and jobs, right? So, but then you have to narrow it down. Like you're not the perfect fit for all of them. So maybe you might apply to all of them because you just want to, and maybe something will hit. That's great. You kind of do the same thing in recruitment. You're looking for people that have what you think you need, but then you have to find the people that are actually wanting to find a job, right? So I'm hunting these people. So then when they respond, I'm like, the only way that I can narrow it down is their job title and and their location for the most part is what comes up in that first list. So if you have a title that is aligned with the title that you want, that helps you stand out to somebody looking for you. And I think that and then even going into it, if I'm like, oh, well, I don't know what this title is, and I go into the profile, I'm looking down below at all of the different experiences, and I'm trying to figure out like why you fit. Like, why did you come up in the algorithm for me? And I think that AI could help with putting those pieces together for job seekers so that when somebody does look at it, they can see the theme and they can see how they potentially fit because it can help with the keywords and the transferable skills.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So let's talk a little bit about your hopes and excitements for the future. So as a pioneer in the industry, what excites you most about the future possibilities of AI for career development?
I'm excited about um, I'm excited about the ability to use AI to help more with networking. I haven't really seen a lot of like I would love it to pop me up a whole bunch of candidates or individuals that describe themselves the way I'm looking to just like the way I describe what I want, So to be able to use the tools that it's using now, that when I say, oh, I'm a teacher and I'm transitioning to data science, tell me the commonalities, to be able to say, I'm looking for somebody like this, who should I be looking for? Or give me types of backgrounds that are related to this, or help me find those people that are passionate about this, like because they're talking about it. I'm hoping that it will get away from keywords because I think keywords are limiting and go more
Yeah.
into putting people together.
Yeah, I hope so too. Okay, so I want you to share a memorable experience where AI solutions significantly impacted a successful executive hiring process for you.
Well, I can tell you, so I had a a client who was looking for a job and um and just was not like was applying and applying and applying and was not getting hits. And very frustrated, but was kind of being more like not as niched, not really like they kept saying that they liked their prior niche. They were in like GPS technology. But they didn't think they could do it with their new skills, and they didn't think a job even existed. So one of the things I like to do is a matching search in Google. So what I'll do is I'll type in, you know, education, comma, data scientist, comma, jobs remote, and see what kinds of jobs come up with both of those things. And Chat GPT and AI can even do that better, because you can say like what types of roles do a lot of, people, professionals that used to be a teacher typically move into in different technologies, or what types of technologies do they like, and why, like what part of it, because there's always different parts. Like teachers can go into anything, but there's a part of it you like. There's a part of data or data science that you like. You might like the analytics or the insights or the machine learning or natural learning processing. So we used ChatGPT to help us to put those pieces together. And because of that, we were able to see, like, we were able to make a statement that basically said, so and so has 5+ years of combined experience as a software engineer and in GPS. Okay. And the second that that statement was changed on the resume, and that we found that target market of we're going for GPS technology solutions, because now we know what we're going, we were he applied to 7 companies. He got 6 of the companies he got to finals in, and got offers in, and he ended up at the number one company he wanted. And it was really about that optimization of bringing his past together with his current skills, and being able to see that. I think that that ChatGPT could like helped put that together. It also
That's
really helps
amazing. Okay.
with interviewing. Like you can put in a job description and say, give me a number of questions that you think that I would be asking in an interview based on this job description. So you can kind of help yourself prep for interviews, and think of, and you can even then say, okay, well, here's my resume. Tell me what stories I can tell to answer these questions. Just don't just read them. You have to feel it. Like the person has to, the connection in the interviews is the most important part. So like if you're just reading a script or it feels like it's separate to you, then you're not going to be easy the interview. You need to feel connected to what you're saying and go deeper so that you can show your knowledge more.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a couple of more questions for you. So, what is the role of networking and community engagement in the context of executive recruitment and job search?
Well, it's the most important area right now in job search, community engagement and networking. So I feel like the word networking, and even sometimes like the social media community engagement is like almost sometimes icky, right? Like people are like, I don't want to network. I don't want to like, push myself on people. I don't like that, doesn't sound fun to me, right? And that's not what I want. I just want a job. Like, why do I have to do all these other things? Um, and so, I've kind of reframed it in my mind as following your interests. Okay. So it's not about, I mean, yes, it is about you getting a job. And I know that's what you want. But the focus is if you follow your curiosity if you try to talk to people or join groups that you're really interested in, then you will be engaging with people that have similarities to you. And you can learn things which is going to excite you, and you're going to get more interested in it. And that's going to shine through in your communication. And you're going to get noticed for, what you know and what your interests are in those communities. And that's really what the networking and the community growing is all about. Um, it really is about being able to to connect with other people, but not on a superficial basis. So, the human part does come through in those communities and in those groups. And it's one of the most direct ways to get to a person, right? Like I always say, you can't get a job by just applying, but you can get a job by talking to a person. So the most direct route is that human to human conversation, and that's what the networking can really help with.
And finally, what message would you like to convey to participants who want to take their job search to the next level through this event?
I would say that you really want to look at your resume and think about and ask the AI and Chat GPT about the keywords for the job. Have it help you define your target market, have it help you identify your key skills and your value add and the types of things you want to promote about yourself. Have it help you define for yourself your story, have it help you optimize with the keywords, and even have it help you prep. Like the more that it can help you to dive deeper into your self-knowing about your professional background and help you to communicate that, the better off you'll be. And you can use it then to create content to post on social or in groups. You can use it to create messaging, to connect with others online and try to get them to join your network. So I would say really try to use it as a tool to help you communicate who you are and what you can do better.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Noreen. Now, we have a couple of questions um, from our guests here. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to answer those with you. One
Great.
of our guests says, do recruiters also use AI to screen potential candidates in LinkedIn, or do they actually read people's profile?
Um, I don't know. I don't know of any tools that can do that, but I could be not up on the latest and greatest. They do use AI to screen candidates once the candidate applies. I can tell you that. Um, I don't, but there are systems that do, and a lot of the applicant tracking systems do. But I'm not aware that they can do that on social in terms of finding people. So if that's happening, it's integrated into the platforms or the social platforms that are being used. And it's
Okay,
more behind the
thank you.
scenes.
And the other question is, how can we use AI to optimize our job search and then utilizing that technology to land the opportunities we are looking for?
So if you were to start your job search from like ground zero and think of yourself like you are a business, like a one person business that offers certain solutions, you could use AI to help you build your business. Okay. So you can use a CRM system like a HubSpot or to gather your people that you have networked, like rather than an old school Rolodex, you can build your contacts. You can then use AI to create marketing messages for you. You can put companies into drip campaigns for yourself. You can be like, oh, if they open this, then I want to send this other thing. Like you can set it up so that it's actually a more automated process. And if you do that, it's going to save you a lot of time. I wouldn't say that I know many people that actually do take that time up front to do it. But I do think that if you do that, it's building it not just for this next round of job search, but for future. And it's really showing your network for yourself. You can also use it for creating the content in the resume based on, the skills and the information that you provide it, optimizing with keywords, which is like the biggest thing ever right now. Putting the pieces together for your story, for the connections between like your past experience and your future, and writing your cover letter based on your resume, trying to communicate your story that way. It can help you with identifying the types of roles out there that might be a good fit for you based on your background and your skills. It can help you, it can help, it won't help like find the roles. It'll find like the top, like the name of the role and maybe a description of what it thinks those roles are, but it doesn't like go find the roles. Or there are some tools I think that do that, but like for you specifically, I'm not aware of like job seeker tools, unless it's like a platform. And you can have it, create content to post on social media and help you figure out how you're going to respond to like, so a lot of people get really nervous, like, okay, I sent a connection request and they responded. What do I say now? Like, so some of that, if you, once you kind of know what you're trying to communicate, and you can give that to GPT and Chat GPT, and it can help you with those like smaller versions of the communication.
Okay, and thank you. I think we have one more question here. So it says, can you talk more about ATS candidate applicant screening? Do you trust AI to screen candidates?
No. No, I don't. I don't trust AI to screen candidates because I don't think that it's skilled enough right now to really pull out um, the benefits of a person for the role. So I still think we're at like keywords and skills, and that's like not what gets people jobs. What gets people jobs is like their other understanding, and that other understanding, that behavioral part, really only comes through in a direct interview. And yes, there are AI screening tools, and yes, they do say they do that, but I have not seen the results yet. I don't know if it's been around long enough to like see whether those people that AI picks are actually a better fit than humans picked, in the past. Like if you were to compare those percentages of how many people were retained in a company and happy in their roles and that type of thing, or actually even, used the AI to screen people and then other people come into the process as well, like who's getting picked. I don't know all those statistics, but personally, I don't believe that it's working as well as people want it to.
Okay, and those were all of my questions, but I have one more question for you. Do you think we're going to miss being like face to face with everyone when we're looking for a job or when we're hiring someone for a job in the future? Do you think like everything is going to change with this AI?
I hope not. I mean, I think that, we kind of went that direction in COVID. Like, I mean, I think, we got forced into
Yeah.
that direction. And I'm seeing, even people that are not sure they want to go back in the office or have the hybrid, like that personal connection is really important. So I don't think that it's gonna like people will be too isolated if they're just behind a Chat GPT. There needs to be, professional interaction, whether it be virtual, like even the virtual, at least I know I'm talking to a real person. Um,
Hmm.
and real people, like yes, Chat GPT can make mistakes, but real people like they make mistakes for different reasons than ChatGPT does. So, having that ability to, see that somebody is human and relates to you in that way is going to be important for work. And that's why all the companies are going more into diversity and equity and inclusion. They want different perspectives. We want to embrace different types of skills and different impacts. So I don't think that it will. I hope it doesn't go that direction, because I don't
Yeah.
think that would be beneficial for people.
No, I hope not either. We're getting a little bit more. Let me go on forward with one more. So someone says, thanks for providing information on profile optimization. It will definitely help in the job search, but when you share all your information online, how do you protect yourself from job scams as a job seeker?
Yeah, so job scams are like this newer thing that has come about because of all this fun technology that we have that's so innovative. And I'm still I think you just have to be smart about what the role is. I mean, you can kind of tell when it's a scam, right? Like when you look at it, it doesn't have as much details, or it's just like, we'll hire anybody, or, even people are reaching out. So you don't share all of your personal information. You should never share anything besides like your online profile information, your email, whatever, phone number, and a lot of people create their own accounts for that. They have a specific email for their job search. They have a specific, like location is not like an address. You don't want to share that personal information like that. If anybody asks you for that, they never should, unless they're like you get a job offer and you have, paperwork that you're filling out or a form that you're filling out online. You should not be asked those questions. And if you are, it's probably not a good idea to share the information. And if you're
Okay.
nervous about it, there's a
And
lot of
okay.
other opportunities. So go for them.
Okay, thank you so much. One last question from Mark. So I think it's a follow-up question from my question. He's asking if we're going back to the offices, or is it going to be remote or hybrid um, in the
So that's going
future,
to
all the
depend.
time?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's going to
Yeah, I
depend.
guess so too.
Yeah. I mean, I think certain roles are important to be in the office. I know there's a lot of sales teams that like their people in the office for the camaraderie. But some sales teams are like, we don't need to have anybody in the office because they're traveling or all around talking to their clients. I think it just depends. I know financial services is really big on bringing people in the office right now. I would imagine, I know there's a lot of remote roles in technology, but I would imagine it would be really helpful to actually sit next to other engineers if you're building like a software. Um, Collaborating is important. So it's just going to be about that amount of communication. I think AI can help with that too, with the communication. What I love is I love Zoom. You have the ability to record, like to have it take notes for you and summarize your calls or your videos. I love it. It's like, you talked about this, and this is what this is what so and so said, and this is what the other person said. And it's not like notes like every word that the person spoke about. It's like the concepts, and it's a high level note taking. So maybe that will become something where it takes the notes for all these meetings everybody is in and then distributes them so everybody can understand what was discussed when they weren't there. That makes it easier than having to watch a whole hour video, for example, if you don't have that time. So,
True.
but I don't think that we're ever going to go 100% like back in the office. And I don't think we'll
No.
ever, well, who knows about the remote 100%, but there are too many people that want to be out and be with other people. So
That's right. That is true. Well, thank you so much. It was really beautiful. It was really nice to ask all of these questions to you, get our answers. Thank you so much, Noreen.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope it was helpful. If anybody has any questions, connect with me on LinkedIn. It's Noreen Walczak. The Luminance group page is there. You can follow that. Um, and I'm happy to answer any questions anytime. I know we didn't get into a lot of the specifics. I think, this was really about understanding that job search is about skills-based hiring, about being really sharing your experience and positioning yourself as an expert on what you know, and using Chat GPT to help you with communicating all that you are able to offer to all these companies that you're looking to join.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we shared it on our chat, but don't forget to subscribe to Clarusway from our YouTube channel. So we have shared a lot of information on the chat box as well. Um, it was nice to have this tech talk with you, with everyone here participated, and have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.